Hey all, Rob here. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when future videos are out. And the topic of this video is, in the Star Wars behind the scenes, you watch news online or some channels like the Overlord DVD channel, and you find out there is a big political and leadership rift between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Again, first of all, we personally don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We hear of the rivalry, we hear of the big differences and clashing that they're doing. But there's been very little publicly known about it. So in my opinion, it's personally speculation until we actually have stuff on the record officially. Whether we've seen stuff or there is some type of official record that acknowledges this feud. So it is speculation that is probably true, mind you, but still we don't know. Because I've never seen video footage or memos or something of this rivalry. And what we have to acknowledge is Kathleen Kennedy was supposedly out the door when her contract was up. But thanks to the Mandalorian success, the COVID troubles, and everything else, I think she's staying. I think she's not going away, unfortunately. And so what I think is, on the MCU, there was some rivalry between Jeff Loeb, who had the TV division, on the lackluster Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Inhumans, and all of these other TV low-budget projects that had TV quality to it, and the Kevin Feige MCU, which is the high-quality stuff. And those two worlds really never interacted in terms of connecting the TV universe with the movie world. The Disney Plus stuff is all Kevin Feige. That doesn't even, forget the ABC shows. It was just lackluster is the best word to describe it. And Jeff Loeb is out of the picture. I don't think he was a good leadership role anyway. I think he just squandered a lot of potential. But, there wasn't that big of a rift publicly that we knew, because most of the MCU was run by one guy really doing the stewardship of that universe. But the problem is, when I look at Star Wars, is we see these rivalries between Kathleen Kennedy and Favreau, Filoni work. And this rift, to me, it seems too big. How we had the Gina firing, we had Pedro who wants the helmet off. He might not be returning. Supposedly it was a lot of fighting on The Mandalorian Season 2 with your lead actor. So there's a lot of trouble going on in this Star Wars universe. Trouble with your lead actor, actress who's liked unjustly fired, hatred of Luke Skywalker from the Kennedy side. And so either two things has to occur, because this rift cannot keep going on. You're either going to have to get rid of Kennedy is the logical step, put Filoni in charge with Favreau right under him as his second in command, and let them control Star Wars. And it's those two who have contacted George Lucas and are in talks with him. They're on the set, they're talking. And then you have the Kathleen Kennedy with her political agendas, and her side. So either, as bad as it is to say, either put Kennedy in charge and get rid of Filoni and Favreau if they're causing this trouble, and let her take control, because she's the leader of the brand. Or you get rid of her and put these two guys in charge. Like, this balance, this chaos cannot continue. How long are you going to let it continue? To the, was it Bob Iger, whoever the head of Disney is. You have to confront this issue and put one leader in charge of the Star Wars brand. And get everyone behind that leadership. And those who are causing trouble must be eliminated. Because you can't have this. You can't have this 50% here and then 50% here fighting each other all the time for this property. Either take one side and then you run with those people, or you take the other side and you run with those people. That's just my view on it, you know, from this chaos. Now, of course, this whole High Republic is kind of garbage. It didn't go off well. They're trying to promote it. I just don't think, from what little I know about it, I don't think it's interesting. What they should have done was a High Republic Disney Plus show from the get-go. But young adult books, novels, this stuff is not over. And so that's why they're pissed. Their politically correct agenda, the Kennedy side, is pretty much a failure. And everyone liked The Mandalorian Season 2 end. And then you got the Book of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett was shown finally to be a true badass that we've always expected him to be since 1980. Now you got to see Boba Fett shine. And the problem is, for every Book of Boba Fett on announced projects, you got these other Kennedy projects for Disney Plus. So, you know, who the hell is in charge of Star Wars universe? When is the next Star Wars film? They probably don't even know what the agenda is going to be in terms of the films or the film future. It seems like it's going to be far away. Just complete chaos. And it's all on Kennedy for her failed leadership and her political agenda. It was shown when they were boasting the Force is female, which everyone knows is complete BS. Because in the 1980s, were little girls playing with Star Wars toys? No, it was Kenner selling Star Wars brand toys to all the little boys. It's a male fantasy empowerment project. It's a role model for males. Calling Star Wars the Force is female is pretty much the equivalent of saying Barbie is for males. It's complete, everyone knows it's BS. And she put that agenda in her films, and it all backfired, and that's why The Last Jedi pretty much broke the Star Wars universe and the fan base. And Star Wars is a shadow of its former self. You'd be lucky in the future to get The Mandalorian 1 and 2, which helped restore faith in the Star Wars universe. But at the same time, you have people on the inside, the Kennedy side, trying to sabotage everything. So that's the state of chaos, you know, that once George Lucas sold the property and Disney took over, it got gutted from what it was and has become a shadow of what it once represented to people, to fans, you know. And I just personally think, you know, sometimes without that George Lucas leadership and everything that Disney has been doing, you're lucky to get some good quality out, but don't expect it. If it happens, then it does happen, but just don't expect it, you know. If Filoni and Favreau are in charge, that's the best Star Wars you're going to get. Anything from the Kennedy side will be utter garbage. I think we know that already. This leadership is going to have to come to a head sooner rather than later, to control this universe and what happens in the future. Heck, supposedly, the side with John and Dave, supposedly they want to use the Force and the mirrors and the whole time shifts. They want to erase the Force Awakens reality. They want to erase that timeline. You know, the problem with that whole timeline was there was too large a gap between Jedi and Episode 7. Too large a gap, time-wise, for a smooth transition. The Mandalorian picking up only 5 or 6 years later after Jedi is a much better time period to pick up from. But the problem with that is, if Episode 7 exists, then you know everything you see now is in the past, and it's going to lead to the Episode 7 future. The sucky future. That is the Episode 7 future. So, you know, everything that you make good, Book of Boba Fett, all of this stuff is in the past. Because you know what's going to lead to Episode 7, 8, and 9. It's like a downer to know that's where it's going to end up. And what you're watching is past stuff between Episode 6 and Episode 7. So either if you're to have a future that's parts unknown, if you're going to have a future that's uncharted in the Star Wars universe, you must erase Episode 7, 8, and 9 from existing and say that's not the real universe. That's not the real future. So that way everything that's being made now that's good can take place into a future that's uncharted. That's just my view on it. So topic of this video was the rift in leadership, the divide. And one side is going to have to take charge and push the other side out. We can't have this divide last forever. So that's it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so you know when future videos are out. Stay safe, my friends, and I'll talk to you later.